Guess I better get up and go down to the gas station and get a couple of cans of gas for the lawnmower and mow our yard today and then mow the Martinez's stuff tomorrow. I just don't like the atrocious price of gas, but the military sucks. You know, the military training is like they rape you, then they say you should press charges, and then they make you fill out your own rape kit, and then they tell you can't afford the baby and make you perform your own abortion. Then they sit and tell you're not good enough to be in charge, and keep working at it. That's how the military is. Wow. You fuckers are gross, you know. Like I told the one lady at the soup kitchen and at food donation, it's like, yeah, people in the military around there, they're the type of people that, you know, how do you get in the military? Rape the dog. I won't rape the dog, they'll kill you. The next guy will rape the dog. Right? She looked at me like, that's just, you're horrible. It's like, you trust the people in the military, they keep you safe. You try to explain that to people. I was in the military. Well, you have to go mass murder the poor to maintain an elite core of economic problem solvers, so we can maintain the environment for this problem solving. I say it's not feasible. It's not tangible. I wasn't wrong about, you know, when I told Sammy, you know, I was just helping Sammy with his classes about, you know, you got to make saving the environment, you know, economic. You got to make it an economic incentive. Does it pay to be good? No, it's good to be good, right? Because money isn't real. So I'm under no obligation to tell you the truth. But since I believe in God and I'm the way, the truth, and the life, I will tell you the truth. And then I will correct your technology. And then, you know, technology will work better than the people that have you working for money. Well, you're not working for money. You're slave labor for money. You're not working for money. Working does not require money. Working requires effort to continue to love. You know, like the Book of Malachi. You know, and like if they had you know, what's her name, Maria Osmond, have that commercial for that supplement thing for body to assimilate to a toxic and stressful environment. Try to help it either go numb or assimilate to it or whatever. I don't know what it does. I really don't care. I don't work for Lilly, a medicine company. They don't work. They just addicted to doing fucked up shit because they make lots of money off of it, off of your abuse. It makes them feel powerful when they can manipulate others. They're sick. And guys, hang in there. I know a lot of you are giving up and physically dying because you're praying for the magic solution in the clouds from the Vatican, which is a bunch of criminals, you know. And they're only doing this because they're addicted to it. It's not because they can. Okay. You know. And you snort cocaine because you're addicted to it, not because you can. Most people don't snort cocaine because they're fortunately not addicted to it yet. But rape the dog, right? So yeah, I watched that thing last night on, and then my dreams, are pretty bad. They're pretty horrible. You know, these people dying, never getting to live in the kingdom of heaven. Yeah, that's been happening since way before your pathetic comic acts for money, making jokes about people being mass murdered over genocide and acting like it's funny, and cartoon artists can make it look like some hero's gonna come up with some kind of magic show and save us from the last magic show. It's like, that's pretty bad. You know, it is pretty bad. Yeah. And then you wonder, why don't you get up and, you know, the government, you know, there's no aliens because the government's real, you know, lousy at hiding stuff. The government is lousy at telling the truth because if it tells the truth, it's no longer in positions of power. Okay? That's what the government is lousy at. Okay? It's lousy at telling the truth. Okay. As far as the alien stuff goes, you know, we may have some stuff with wormholes going from other crazy things that human beings have done because of their bad science projects that they don't tell you about, like their cloning, and, you know, they've been... the cloning thing, I knew right away, and they already knew. I said, if you clone, it's like, cloning Hitler. Who in their right mind wants to clone Hitler? Hitler. Yeah, that was the operative. Who in their right mind wants to clone Hitler? Hitler. Who in their right mind wants to clone Hitler? Hitler. Okay, repeating. Who in their right mind wants to clone Hitler? Hitler. So Hitler wants to clone Hitler, right? Who else wants to clone Hitler? Hitler. And who else? That's about it. Okay. Who wants to clone Elon Musk? Elon Musk. Who else? No one else. The kids are like, no, Dad, don't clone yourself. You're an asshole. I only stay with you because of the money, right? But money's not real. Well, I'm an asshole too. Okay. You thinking about cloning yourself? Why? I already want to commit suicide half the time. Why would I want to kill myself so the clone could probably kill us both? That's true. That's true. Because then you develop even more paranoid schizophrenia. Right. Like I explained to them in Sierra Vista, which they already knew. Right. If you clone a paranoid schizophrenic, it's going to compound the paranoid schizophrenia. And then things are going to get really freaky and fucked. Right? So then invent a robot that has your brain on a robot to keep your paranoid schizophrenic self safe without a replication of your mind that is trapping the soul in that pathetic mind. But doesn't the robot do a similar thing? Yes. And then talks people into committing suicide to be with one of the girls from the Game of Thrones? Yes. So you can maintain power because that's one less hungry mouth to feed in the ghetto. And his hunger burns. So he starts to roam the streets at night and he learns how to... Or Shelby, Elvis loves us. Elvis is one of us. He loves us. He brought the propaganda. I don't think Elvis was a bad person. I think Elvis was a distracted person, who could get a lot of things he wanted, and he did. And it made life, it gets hard. Have you ever heard that song Last Time by David Gates and Brett? It doesn't seem like everyone's getting younger, baby. Guess you're going to have to find yourself another pastime, judging by the past. I guess won't be the last time, be the last time. And when you become consumed at getting what you want and being ambitious, when you get older, it gets more insidious and ridiculous and makes better talk show fodder for millionaires to tell jokes about billionaires so they can be aspiring billionaires too. So that they can have young egomaniacs sitting there telling you're the leaders of tomorrow. Lead yourself to peace. You got a real objective here. I'm effective here because I select a clear method for all suckers that fall, they maul and crawl into the pit of purgatory. Right? And what's a pit of purgatory? It pays to be good. Now rape the dog. Then we'll rape you. You fill out your own rape kit. Perform your own abortion. You're just not good enough to be in charge yet. Keep working at it. That's what I saw last night on the Colbert Show. That sucks. Yeah, I know. You see that big building? It's like, but they all make one of those? The goddamn egomaniac bullshit. You can grow up to be president. Every last ridiculous dumbass. They have a Kennedy Museum. My 2 years as president before the people that fill out the rape kits and rape the dogs shot me in the head. Right. You want to grow up to try to be a good person, and if you decide you're going to be a good person as president, they blow your head off, and then tell jokes about it on Stiller movies. Yeah. The two lookers on the grassy knoll. You a hand model? Okay. You think this shit is funny? How many comic book covers you been on? No, none. Like my favorite Indian is still Judah Krishnamurti. Yeah, well, why not? I mean, he spent a lot of time in meditation helping me through this hell so I could fix technology so we don't have to be abused by assholes with technology. So, if anybody else is jealous, why is Judah Krishnamurti your favorite Indian? Why isn't he your favorite Indian? That's the question, right? So, technically he should be just about everybody's favorite Indian. That's, even Indian. Judah Krishnamurti is my favorite Indian. What about Mahatma Gandhi? He didn't help Parsons correct technology so that murdering asshole in India could have more robots and cars. So, I kind of lean towards the Krishnamurti fellow. Me too. Gandhi, yeah, he's all right, but he bought his own press, and next thing you know, he was making tire commercials at the Super Bowl with Bob Dylan, right? I would not feel so all alone. Everybody must get stoned. They'll stone you when you walk into the car. They stone you when you go into the bar. You stone yourself when you're going to the bar. Yeah, right. Especially in New Mexico when they got legalized marijuana there. Yeah, they stone you when you... Okay. I would not. Is Joni Baez think she'll go out with me again? I don't know. You could go ask her. No, she's obnoxious. Well, then why do you want to go out with her again? I like obnoxious women. Okay. I come up with my own material. The assholes on Kimmel and Fallon and Colbert do not write my stuff. I just straight Earl off the cuff. Best gospels are free flow, like the best hip hop is free flow. Well, my boy Al G and Jay Sly. Oh, you gotta feel it. Technically, all hip hop is free flow. Sometimes you just take a pen and you write it down. You fix it and rearrange it. Oh, isn't it still free flow? Don't you do that when you're playing basketball and you're free flowing when you're playing basketball and you fix it and rearrange it? Wait, I'm going to turn this way. Yeah, Sam. Okay. And sometimes it works and sometimes it's a turnover. And then the coach sits you on the bench and it's like, Coach, okay. We're going to lose by 30 because you got pissed because I made one turnover. Okay. Because I wasn't doing what he wanted. It's like, yeah, but if we do what you want, we're not going to win. You're just trying not to lose. Okay. Lots of coaches do that. Yeah, it's a drag. When you have the most talented player on the court and he's unselfish, turn him loose. That's the moral of a story from a guy who knows I'm in love and my love still grows. Yeah, that's what was my thing with my coaches. I did not understand. No, Coach Valley, they cheated and he knew it, and so did Coach Santos at the high school. That's the only reason why we didn't win the Summer League championship in Colville was because all the creepy, cliquey locals cheated and technicaled me out of the games because they would cheat and make terrible calls and have their friends ref the games, and it sucked. Yeah, it was not fun. It was very frustrating, especially when you're 14 years old. It was very frustrating. At the Mormon League, they couldn't beat us. And that's the whole thing with because Francisco laughed and sat there and said, well, yeah, Art Watley went and played there and scored 50 points again. Yeah, but they lost by 30 points. Okay. We're winning. I did go for 30 and a quarter for the first one when Coach Payne said, Earl, become the threat. And then after that, Jimmy was scoring 10, 20 points, getting 10 rebounds. He was all excited, right? And he had pretty good numbers, but, he didn't have the score. He'd score bunnies and putbacks but Scott was under there, and I gave him the ball, and he scored, and he said he got all excited. He goes, it's the first time I've ever scored a basket against Scott Saban. I said, you're going to score more. Okay. I'm going to get you the rock. Okay. You're going to get good shot opportunities. You're going to make them. Okay. Because that's just Earl. Okay. He's like that with all his teammates. You're going to score. Okay, we're going to do good. I didn't come out here to lose, right? And, because it's fun to win. And you don't lose on purpose when people are, cocky and abusive to you because you suck and they tell you suck, Oh, I never told kids they sucked, okay? When they started talking shit to me abusive, then I would say something because I get mad, and then you say those mean things we know that aren't true. When you're selfish and you're being a dick and you don't want anybody else to have fun because you want to be dominant and you're the best, you do suck. And the only way to stop sucking is, does it pay to be good? No, it's good to be good. So live the Lord's Prayer, you rotten little fucking cosmonaut. Okay? Fucking assholes, right? So, cosmonaut, astronaut, what's the difference? None whatsoever. Yeah, money ain't real, and they use it to fuck you in the head with science projects. You wake up in the morning, God, I feel horrible. I had a little moment where they had this dream sequence thing that made my stomach hurt. And I said, that ain't them dog's real voices, and I'm listening to the stuff in the background for all the magnetization that keeps us a little bit sick. I had a little tingling in my fingers from some of the chemical reactions, but the breeze is good enough, and I'll wash out some, after I cut the lawn, I'll wash off the house and wash out the vents on the air conditioner and stuff just to keep us comfortable for the meantime. Probably get the weed eater and cut all those dead weeds across the way, too. I've just been tired. I'm tired of filling out my rape kit and performing my own abortions and then having them tell me you're not good enough to be in charge. Lead yourself to peace. I've got a real objective here. I'm a effective here because I've selected a clear method for the Lord's Prayer at all or nothing at all for all seconds. Yeah, so, me and Keith got it worked out. Me and old Mr. Bossbrook. They don't have a museum for Keith's life, do they? Perhaps they never will. Good. Because what we'll have from Keith is prayer, for Earl and Malcolm and so on and so forth. I didn't have that much prayer with Minister Fred. I didn't have time to believe in Jesus and all that stuff. That was all racist bullshit. And Malcolm knew it was all racist bullshit, but he knew the people that lived the Gospels and lived the Gospels, that live the Gospels are legit. And when you ask for help in prayer and they guide you to do the right thing, you're like, okay, I believe in this stuff. This is what got me through prison. This has got me through, when you get those really hard times like Harriet Tubman, when he'd come and spoon her and, stuff. She's so sweet. I love her so much. She's so sweet. She's one of the strongest people you've ever met, and you don't want to cross her or else she'll blow your fucking head off with a service revolver. But she's one of the sweetest people you've ever met in your life. Okay, it's like Emily, She'll snatch you bald, but she's so sweet. Yeah, that's Harriet Tubman. She's wonderful. If I could talk to her more in prayer, I would, but she's a busy woman. You don't find a girl like that every dynasty. No, you don't. And if you do, they have her murdered in a smoke shop in Phoenix. And then the conversation ends. How do you keep the music playing? And that depression needs to be there till we're living the Lord's Prayer, because that's what Michelle said, Papa don't, Papa don't, Papa don't. You're the guy who's supposed to, how my babies and my grandbabies going to live the Lord's Prayer if you go acting like John McCain, Earl. Yeah. Roosevelt, I don't believe it says anywhere in the good book that you're supposed to get in airplanes and drop bombs on people for, these people that think they own us to pay us to live here now. Do they, Roosevelt? Good old Grandma Gilliard. I like the way she reads the Bible. Because what Jesus said is, that people, if they have personal agendas, they'll find something in the Bible to promote and support that. And people that go back to the same phrase every time usually are selfish. John 3:16, right? John 3:16. So God gave his son to give his life so I could be an asshole and just believe he's God and then get what I deserve and believing he's God after I'm done killing everybody for the money of the Romans, right? John 3:16. John 3:16. You'll find selfish people quote to you the same scriptures over and over and over again. They always do. When they have a selfish agenda, when they're afraid, when they want, hey, Jesus, do what I want you to do. I'm scared. Hey, Jesus, like my Steffi used to do. Yeah. That means they've been abused one too many times. Amy pointed it out to me last night. She goes, with that yeast infection, we probably would have hit the mountaintop. She would have been a total pain in your ass, but a good pain in your ass. Yeah. Yeah, if we got to the point where she enjoyed the sex with me, we would have been able to make it through anything. Anything. Like Lopez said on her show, all we want is a little sugar. Yeah. And if we'd have we were getting to that point and the military caused something to cause a yeast infection in her, and that ruined the sex for us just about for good. And it was because of a science project and abuse on Patrick's mother. And Blue Ivy Carter, when I watched her the other night, she goes, we were. What was the one that... Steffi, yeah, she's funny. Yeah, she used to make up. She used to spoof songs all the time. What was the one? Was it? It was funny, but I would like we'd sing it all the time, and I was like, she's a dork. Yeah, it was funny. But we used to spoof songs. So you remember the good times with Patrick's mom? There had to be more than just yeah. There was Rocky Mountain cake. That's what she called Patrick's cake because she had trouble getting it out of the pan, and it kind of crumbled up. And then it may not look great, but it tastes good. It was cute. We called it Rocky Mountain cake. Yeah, Patrick's first birthday party. I don't have that videotape anymore. I don't know what. I have it on a digital thing that I probably could get some geeks to put it on different equipment and I could watch it again. Yeah. Accentuate the positive, eliminate the negative. Don't mess with Mr. In Between. Yeah, I imagine if she's still with us, she's really, still really hard to live with. Yeah, it's the cold heart, and Charlie Pride's life made her that way. She's difficult. Everybody knew it, you know. Chief tried to talk her out of it a lot of times. Yeah. Well, don't do that. Just do this. Yeah, and she can't. And it's no. And then as soon as something goes bad, no, I knew it. It's all bullshit. And then you're like, fuck. And it's depressing. It's very depressing. You know, loving Stephanie Elaine Gilliard is one of the most depressing. It's hard though, because I told Patrick that too. I said, you can't love her for what you want her to be. You have to love her for who she is. And then I was always like, it's not fair because he does everything. Yeah. Because if you don't accommodate her, she like Patrice, she'll throw you out of her life and never talk to you again. So he's being a dick. No, you're being a jerk, and he left because you wouldn't stop being one. Yeah, that's what the truth is. But you can't tell her that. If you tell her that, then she throws you out. She hates you. Wish I never married you. I wish you were dead. Okay, Dad's never said anything like that to me. Okay. Dad doesn't say anything like that to any of us. No. Okay. Don't say that in front of people. Don't say that about the kid. Don't say that kid's got a big forehead and the other one's better looking. Don't say that. Why don't you look like your sister? Don't say that. Why aren't you as smart as your brother? Why can't you ball like your brother? Don't say that. Just say that, here, go post up on Scott Saban. I'll get you the ball. Scott Saban was a nice kid. The other two brothers would cuss you out and call you names and stuff. Like, Scott was a good kid. His mom was a nice woman. Sister Saban was a sweetheart. Yeah. Like the Whitworths. She was a very determined Mormon. She was a sweetheart. She had good intentions, but it's like, I don't want to hang out with these white supremacists. I want to go do something different. The thing is there was a lot of them in there, and there still is. But the thing is that doesn't mean that the Sabins and the Whitworths are white supremacists. Just means they believe a lot of the magic bullshit because it works for them, right? Like that, the whole Marie Osmond thing, growing old sucks. No, selfishness sucks. Growing old is a gift. Read the book of Malachi again. Go back and read the book of Malachi again. Where in the book of Malachi does it say growing old sucks? Selfishness sucks. So I'll forgive you this time, for you are being very ignorant. Not insignificant. I guess you just hope to be. Dope as me. I can hear you flee because the pressure's too much for you. Which happens to me every time I pick up the fucking phone. What the fuck? You gonna give it? Okay. Here's rape the dog. Fill out your own kit. Perform the abortion. You're still not good enough to be in charge yet, Obama. But we'll build a museum of you selling Oreos in a repackaged bag that's marked up because niggas is still dumb because money's real. Thanks, Anthony Gaines. Bok. See why I'm Anthony's nigga? You care about us. You've read Brian Hall said the same thing. Earl, You know who Mary McLeod Bethune-Cookman is. You know who you know who Richard Wright is. You know who Langston Hughes is. You can tell people about Richard Wright's books. You can psychoanalyze Richard Wright's books. You can explain. Yeah, why? Because I really, really care. Sun is shining, there's plenty of light. You know, when I have black folks that are my family on my profile pictures on my Xbox, it's not because I want to have sex with my rival tribes' girls to show them at a Job Corps in Mississippi. It's because I want to love her daughter and make sure that she doesn't get abused and her children don't get abused by rival gangs, right? Gang fight. We're going to a gang fight. A boy like that, kill your brother. A boy like that, rape your mother. They will. Okay. If it's all about them and money's real, they will. Till further notice. I'll be here till further notice. And then when further notice is done, Lord's Prayer is going to overcome the world. People aren't going to wake up tired and miserable and saying growing old sucks. The book of Malachi is going to be for real, just like me. I can see the little tears in your eyes about to fall. You are wondering if I'm for real. I tell you no lie, baby, I'm for real. Anybody else like the originals and Baby, I'm for real? And baby, baby, you don't understand how much I love you, baby, and how much I want to be your only man. Poor Steffi, yeah. I feel sorry for Steffi. She was a science project that's a never-ending story science project for all these jealous fucking perverts in close proximity to me. And nobody, keeps secrets. I'm an alien. That's what Watkins used to tell me all the time. You're part alien. You're interested. Okay, just because I'm intelligent and have a better immune system than people that self-destruct because they're selfish, I'm a fucking alien. Okay. Don't you think most people would be like me if they didn't act like fucking aliens to the truth? Riddle me this, riddle me that. Mr. Freeze? Freeze everybody, and then they'll all be Batman. Their superpower will be, their wealth will be the faith of Psalms, the wisdom of Proverbs, and the deliverance of evil of the living embodiment of the Lord's Prayer. Hallelujah, brother. Okay, thanks. I'll be here until further notice. I'm working. I got to go out there and do slave labor on the slave labor camp, I was just depressed because of the price of gas. I was like, I keep up on top of it, but I was like, waiting for a lot of the shenanigans to kind of ease up so we could, it wouldn't be hurt Dad's wallet so much because that stresses him out. But military sucks. Rape the dog, fill out the kit, perform the abortion. You're still not good enough to be in charge. We're the U.S. military intel, chiefs of staff of whatever and stuff that, they always say they need to replace the president, the propaganda tool bag because the diaper's full. But that diaper's always full of shit because the military stays the same way and it's always been illegit because you need mass murder in order to have a military. And if you have the Messiah, you have mass love, which brings about mass hysteria. I guess if you want to clone yourself and put your psychotic brain on a robot to keep your clone safe from your other clone, okay, maybe, okay, it's funny. Hey, is this making a good comic book? You think I'd sell most comic books? You think I'd be the best comic book salesman in the history of the world? Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, all the rest, 1984, out the door, what the way? Hey, I got another way to say Conan the Barbarian all the way. Let's do this. Okay, is that Will Chamberlain? Hey, Grace Jones thinks she'll go out with me? No, she's dating a lot for and I'm a white guy. What's the difference? Why is she white guy? What does she got to go? Oh, it's because I'm Mexican. You think I'm Mexican? Okay, guys, I love you. All right, we'll talk later. All right, peace out, man.